NVIDIA did the impossible, and it continues to make me realize that I'm not bullish enough in the AI market. In today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at some of the key parts and the key notes that I took from NVIDIA's GTC keynote. Get it? You see what I did there? Keynotes, keynotes. Well, regardless, outside of random jokes and crappy jokes on today's episode, I am going to provide a lot of information for all types of AI and semiconductor investors, especially if you own NVIDIA. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, NVIDIA, $4 trillion company, was up roughly 5% today, sitting at $201. That gave it a market cap of $4.9 trillion. After hours, the stock is up another $2.60, sitting at 203, and we are reaching that $5 trillion mark. This is going to become, in my opinion, the first company to hit 5 trillion, and it's also going to be the first company to hit $10 trillion. Now, someone did the math online, and the overall price for NVIDIA to hit $5 trillion would be around $205.36. So that's when NVIDIA will become the first $5 trillion based on this article here. Now, what created the vast amount of excitement for NVIDIA? And like I mentioned today, NVIDIA had their GTC keynote DC, where they shared a lot of great information. But there was one thing in particular that I think changed the whole landscape and made us see how much we underestimate this AI market. So first is this one, cloud server provider CapEx spent. And this includes just Amazon, CoreWeave, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle. It's crazy to see that CoreWeave is now listed as one of the crucial players, like these other bullish CoreWeave there. But in forms of CapEx for 2024, it was roughly $270 billion. For 2025, is expected to be $443 billion. For 2026, is expected to grow. So regardless if the numbers are true, what we continue to see is this massive demand that is seen by Morgan Stanley for the AI chip market. And most of these cloud server providers, that's what they're investing, right, on AI infrastructure. Now, this slide, this is something I honestly had to watch it once, watch it twice. I think I watched this clip like 7 times, where Jensen talks about visibility into more, not just $500 billion, more than $500 billion in cumulative Blackwell and Rubin revenue through calendar year of 2026 so far. So he says that within the next 5 quarters, they have visibility of $500 billion, $500 billion in revenue. Now, that is insane. And I keep listening, and he even went to a few keynotes and said, yes, within the next 5 quarters, we have about $500 billion in revenue in sight, visibility, right? Visibility is different from when it's going to be recognized. And I wonder if we're going to get like a real answer pretty soon, as right now, we're all seeing this as within the next 5 quarters, we're going to expect $500 billion in revenue. And this is, if this is true, this is completely different from what market estimates are. So for the end of this year, January 2026, which is the end of this fiscal year for them, NVIDIA is expected to do $206 billion in revenue. Last 12 months have actually been 165. We still have 2 quarters in forms of reporting to kind of get that. And I do believe we are going to pass that 206 billion number. Now for January 2027, expecting $270 billion. Even if you add those 2 years, you still don't get that $500 trillion, right? So that just alone showcases how crazy of a demand there is for AI chips. Now, NVIDIA is pretty much telling us, you thought you were bullish, you're not bullish enough. Now, again, I wish there was a financial analyst Q&A to get the real answer. But if you look at various interviews, Jensen mentions that for the next 5 quarters, they have $500 billion of revenue available to them. And that's a lot and a lot of money, right? Insane amount of money. And again, to me, it tells me why NVIDIA could be the first $10 trillion company. We also know that NVIDIA is massively expanding its capacity, its manufacturing capacity with its partners, right? So overall, this is very bullish, in my opinion, for a lot of companies. It's bullish, obviously, for your TSM, as they're going to be manufacturing a lot of these. It's going to be very bullish for your Dells, your HPE, your Supermicro. While I don't own them, this is definitely a bullish sign for them, because these servers, they're not all going to be cloud server providers, right? Some of these are going to be built by those companies, those server makers. So very bullish for them. In my opinion, is also extremely bullish for the AI infrastructure players like your CoreWeave, like your Nebias. And the reason being, right, if we've only had 4 million GPUs of Hopper and we have 6 million shipped of Blackwell, and we still have, in theory, based on this, right, we still have 14 million GPUs left to be sold. How we're so power constrained, right? If we were so power constrained already with just these 10 million GPUs, if we even double the amount of GPUs there, how are we going to make up for that power? How are we going to find the power? For that reason, I believe this shows a very long-term bullish trend for your CoreWeaves, for your Nebias, and for anybody really entering into the AI infrastructure market. Now, I'm not saying that those stocks are always going to go up for the next year or so, but if we do see a massive pullback in any, like we saw just a week ago, I wouldn't be hesitant to either sell puts or buy shares, because I do believe in the long term, the opportunity is pretty high just on what Jensen has told us. So not just on NVIDIA, but the whole ecosystem is extremely exciting in my overall thoughts. Now, talking about my overall thoughts, if you want to learn more about the semiconductor market, check out whatthechipHappened.com. I have a free newsletter, and more importantly, I have created a brand new community of like-minded semiconductor and AI investors. Right now, for limited time founding members, I'm giving 50% off your annual subscription. The community is being built, but every day I'm adding new information. We have things like general discussion, recent news, AI chip analysis, conference and events insights, interview keynotes, and so much more. Here, for example, in recent news, I've already kind of covered some of the recent things that happened in the AI market just this past day or so. Microsoft's OpenAI partnership, Qualcomm that we heard yesterday. Again, it's brand new and it's already filled with a lot of content. And the more people that joined, the better this community is going to go. So appreciate it. And to me, my goal is to make this the #1 community for AI and semiconductor investors. Now, following through the next thing for AI NVIDIA, they announced Department of Energy partners with NVIDIA to build 7 new AI supercomputers. Now, the biggest of this is actually going to be this one, Solstice, which is going to be 100,000 Blackwell GPUs. The other ones I would say are Equinox is a 10,000 Blackwell GPU. It's still crazy. Tara, Minerva, and Janus are ones that we don't have the specs for just yet. Then from Los Alamos, we do have two supercomputers, Mission and Vision, that are going to be powered by Vera Rubin. So very important, right? You're kind of no longer just seeing this is a true sovereign AI, right? It is government investing dramatically into AI supercomputers. And this is crucial. We saw some yesterday from AMD. We see 7 more here from the United States. Now, we also had a little bit of the healthcare market. So Lilly deploys world's largest, most powerful AI factory for drug discovery using NVIDIA's Blackwell-based DGX SuperPod. So one thing that we're seeing is we know cloud server providers and AI labs are buying these massive AI supercomputers. Now what we're seeing is the medical space, enterprise entering this and buying their own AI supercomputers as well. Lilly, a pioneer in medicine, is deploying the largest, most powerful AI factory owned and operated by a pharmaceutical company, the world's first NVIDIA DGX SuperPod with DGX B300 systems. This, in my opinion, just even though it's a small system, 1,000 DGX B300 chips, it is still crucial to see that the enterprise world, the research world, no longer just your cloud service providers, no longer just your AI labs are the ones buying these types of chips, right? We're expanding into other markets when we also just saw that sovereign AI, nations themselves are also investing within their own entities and their own groups, right? These are national laboratories. So overall, super, super exciting. Now, we also saw that Palantir is integrating NVIDIA's accelerated computing, NVIDIA CUDA-X libraries, and open source NVIDIA Nemotron models into its ontology framework at the core of the Palantir AI platform. Pretty much, if you're going to be using Palantir, you can already, on top of that stack, be able to put NVIDIA's libraries, which help accelerate your solution. If Palantir is as crazy and as exciting as all these Palantir bulls are saying, the amount of acceleration that's going to be happening on NVIDIA CUDA, on NVIDIA's hardware, on NVIDIA's infrastructure is going to be massive. So I actually think this is a big win, and it's great to see these two companies work together. Now, what next do I have? So NVIDIA did release a new chip, but they mentioned they didn't want to talk about it too much. I think maybe we might hear a little bit more about it during the next GTC, where you can kind of put a lot of the things together, because this is going to be part of the Vera Rubin platform. But NVIDIA launches the Bluefield 4, the processor powering the operating system of AI factories. And this is what makes NVIDIA great, right? You don't have one chip that makes everything better, right? You have thousands, not thousands, you have, I forget, 7 chips I think they have, but 7 chips that you're able to improve a little bit by little bit each time. And those little improvements make these massive growth opportunities for the whole data center, for the whole server rack. And this is just another ability. He talks about this being more for the storage side of AI, which is extremely, extremely heavy right now, and should help obviously increase the TCO and the throughput of data center solutions and token generation in the future. Now, the final thing that I thought was pretty interesting was NVIDIA announced NVQ Link, which is a quantum GPU interconnect. Now, for those that are familiar with NVIDIA, the biggest strength outside of CUDA, in my opinion, is NVLink, the ability to connect GPUs with CPUs and GPUs with other GPUs, and just this interconnection bridge that helps at some rapid pace. It allows NVIDIA to be a master at training, but also a massive moat in inference. NVLink, the ability to have these high speeds interconnections. Well, now in the quantum market, NVIDIA has created NVQ Link, the ability for those that are building quantum computers to use this platform to kind of connect the QPU to a GPU. Now, this is going to allow, in my opinion, this is more of like a hedge for NVIDIA, or a smart move. We're not designing QPUs, right, or entering directly into the quantum market. But if the quantum market is going to be big, you have the opportunity to use our solutions for these error corrections. And with this NVQ Link, you're going to be able to do it better than anybody else. So you're going to want to buy our chips to be able to make these hybrid quantum computers that you want. If quantum computer takes a lot longer to really develop than the market thinks, then great. We didn't invest a lot of money on the development of QPUs, but we just kind of had this research and development on this NVQ Link bridge. So I think it's a great way to kind of be in the quantum market without really being in the quantum market. So you're kind of creating this bridge. You're pretty much tying yourself to it. If they do good, you're going to be able to sell a lot of GPUs and potentially CPUs to be able to connect with those QPUs and provide a lot in a great performance overall. And at the end of the great performance comes great TCO. So those, to me, in my opinion, were the top things that we heard from NVIDIA's keynote. Again, I think this is extremely bullish for the AI market, for the AI infrastructure. And while like I mentioned, I don't believe stocks will always go straight up, right? But if we ever see some massive downturns within the next few quarters, even during this earnings, this keynote was a reminder that those dips should probably, if it is a great company and it does have the great opportunity to grow and it's not crazily overvalued, it is the opportunity to buy the dips in the AI market. So I'm extremely, extremely bullish. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And like I mentioned, check out whatthechip.com. Appreciate it. You're not going to regret it. And see you next time.